Before we get started, please subscribe to this channel. You also can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And if you're looking to become a member of the DW Pod, you can look for Dr. Williams' podcast on Patreon, where you will find 3 different tiers of membership benefits. If you'd like to work with me one-on-one, you can go to my website, www.drwilliamspodcast.com, or you can check out www.nrtrc.org to find a telehealth provider. Look in Sequim, Washington, because that's where I'm located, and you can set up a therapy session with me there. Okay, let's get into this conversation. I just got done editing the episode on prayer and manifestations, and I felt like I needed to do a mini episode as a follow-up to that episode because I've come to know some things since recording that episode that I need to clarify. Because the way it works is I actually recorded that episode months ago. And then it sits in the queue until it's its turn to come up and be aired. Sometimes when I go in to edit things that I recorded months ago, I realize that I've come to know more information. I've gained more wisdom on a topic. And sometimes I need to clarify that because my thoughts are always evolving, just as yours are for you. So when I recorded the episode on prayer and manifestations, in there I talk about how your negative emotions and what you're thinking about is actually creating more negativity in your life. And it is perceived that way. It's just not the whole truth. And that's what I wanted to clarify. Because the way it really is set up is we have well-being and wellness being flowed to us from our inner being all the time. When we're receiving it, that means that that line of reception is open. We're allowing that into our experience. And when we are not, when we're getting what we don't want, when we're noticing the contrast or the negative things, it's not that we have negativity flowing to us. It's just that we are pinching off the well-being. And I just wanted to make sure to clarify that because when I first started really getting into being a deliberate creator and using the law of attraction to create my reality. And I mentioned in the episode on prayer that I was praying all the time. I was actively engaging in thoughts about what I wanted and ruminating on what I wanted, asking. And I became more aware of my thoughts because of that. And then when I noticed I was having a negative response to my life experience, I was having negative emotions associated with my thoughts, I created anxiety because I started thinking, oh no, now that is going to manifest in my reality. And I'm going to have to live through this negativity that I just created right now. And I wanted to pull it back and suck it back in, but I couldn't. It had already happened. And that created worry, which is then more resistance. That's more negativity. And the universe is sensing that. The universe receives our emotional output. That's the vibrational frequency that we are sending as our communication to the universe. It is received by the universe and it is mirrored back to us. That's how law of attraction works. That's the basic fundamentals of the law of attraction. And that's why it's important as a deliberate creator to tend to our vibrational frequency, to work on offering a frequency which then allows more of what we want to come into our experience. But in the episode on prayer, it sounds like what I'm saying is if you are feeling negative and you're focused on the lack of what you want, you are going to be creating those negative things in your experience. And that's not accurate. It's not that you're creating negativity. You are just further disallowing positivity. And that's a really important distinction because from a very young age, we learn the difference between good and bad or good and evil. And we have this duality that is in our reality where we then sort things into those two different areas. So it seems like when we would be talking about creation and law of attraction, that it would work the same way. But that's not the case. The truth is that source energy is the basis of all creation. And source energy is all good, all positivity, all love. Therefore, nothing negative can ever come from that. Negativity is simply the contrast, the opposite of all that goodness, which is there just to stimulate us realizing the goodness that we want to line up with. We get to define what kind of goodness we want, and that's the life experience. But negativity never flows to us. Only positivity, only goodness ever is flowed to us from source energy. And that is default. That is what is coming to us at all times. And it's just up to us to line up with that, to open up our reception to allow it in. When we perceive living negativity or the lack of what we want, when we feel like we're in a funk and we're getting all this bad stuff happening to us, it's not that we have a negative force that's creating that for us. It's just that we are pinching off. Our valve is closed to receiving from our source. So I just wanted to clarify that. So I'm hoping that after listening to the episode on prayer and manifestations, or if you're listening to this one before listening to that one, that you can keep that in mind when processing what I talk about in the episode on prayer. If you like being able to watch the podcast? Make sure to let me know by subscribing to this channel.